Not looking good for Ukraine whatsoever. More and more soldiers they are deserting. Before I talk to you more in details, just to remind you, most of my viewers are not subscribed. If you happen to be one of them, consider subscribing. More Ukrainian soldiers have deserted the army this year than ever. Okay, so this is what is happening on the ground. A lot of the time, we don't see the mainstream media reporting on this. In fact, it would be when they report the exact opposite. What they will report, well, most of the time they will say, look, these Russian soldiers, the Russian military, they are losing their lives. But if you take a look at the actual report, you can actually compare yourself to see that the number of soldiers that Ukraine is losing is way more. It's way more than the Russian number, and I will actually share with you those numbers in a second. But this is what is happening. So they're deserting their post since the onset of a war that analysts say has been or has seen both sides, means Russia, Ukraine, make gains and report losses. Now, obviously, the loss for Ukrainian soldiers, the numbers are being hugely deflated when we have the same time these Western medias, mainstream media, talking about how Russia is losing big time and not revealing the numbers on the Ukrainian side whatsoever. Now, how many people are getting prosecuted for leaving the army in Ukraine, for deserting the post? This is what we need to know, the number, so that we know exactly what is happening. We need to go through the record from the Ukrainian government. So prosecutions for desertion come from Ukraine's army are thought to have hit at least 30,000. Now that number, guys, is very, very significant and quite high. 30,000, because this is the number. They have never seen such numbers of Ukrainian soldiers actually leaving the post. This is way too many, and this is what is happening right now, quite possibly much more already this year 2024. So it is, this report is talking about last year 24, we are now in 25. This is several times the number in 22, the year the war began, when citizens and foreigners voluntarily poured into the military to push Russia back. They had militaries or personnel, individuals, veterans coming from the Western countries, including United States and Canada, to join or to be used as a reinforcement for the Ukrainian military. But nevertheless, they are not getting enough. You have already 30,000 people, soldiers, saying we have deserted the post and we have no problem facing the prosecution, because facing the prosecution is much better than serving in the military. Now, those found guilty are given between 5 and 12 years in prison. However, some defectors say that is a better option than facing what might be an endless, undefined period on the battlefield. Basically, what they're suggesting is this: life with the army is worse than going to prison and serving 5 to 12 years. So that number, number of years that you'll be in prison is quite a lot. A lot of, a huge chunk of your life will be gone in the prison. Nevertheless, this Ukrainian military, they're saying that it is okay, we can deal with that, but going back to the military, serving them, is not going to be something we want to do at all. Now, how many have deserted the Ukrainian army? What is the actual figure? Well, according to the Kiev Post, it is believed that about 60,000 people have been facing criminal charges. So it is coming on the Kiev Post, and 30,000 of them are facing prosecution, but 60,000 have been they are facing criminal charges, not prosecuted, criminal charges for fleeing their post since the war started. Again, regardless how you take a look at this, the number is a lot. 60,000 facing criminal charges. How many soldiers you have anyways? Not a lot, but a huge number of them are not worried at all. Well, we'll be criminal. You call us criminal, no problem. We're not going to fight this Zelensky's war. We're not going to fight this proxy war waged by United States. However, British daily The Times also cited figures from the Prosecutor General then they have mentioned the number is actually 51,000, not 60,000. 51,000 criminal cases were initiated. Regardless of what it is still too high, as this is where we find from the reports. Again, they basically are saying that this number, regardless 51,000 or 60,000, this is way higher than the year 2022, when we had just 9,000 cases. All these figures are much higher than the 22,000 criminal charges filed for the same offense in 2023, and 9,000 was in 2022. So 2022 9,000, 2023 22,000, and now 60,000 or 51,000 doesn't really make much of a difference, because the number is still quite high this year. Therefore, Ukraine is facing like a doomsday, really. I mean, this is going to be the end of them if they continue to lose all of these soldiers, and if they continue to desert their post. Now, why so many soldiers are losing or deserting or quitting, I should say, not losing their post? Well, number one is because of low morale caused by the exhaustion is the main reason. I mean, when you send the soldiers to fight every single day for the last 3 years, what do you expect from them? The morale will be low. They will be tired, and this is the main reason. Then you also have soldiers complain of having to grind through 4 days without any pause, under heavy fire without a pause, because there is no one to relieve them. They do not have enough manpower, so whoever is working for the military, they're working continuously. And do you know how many days they get their vacation? You'll be surprised. Let's see what they're saying here. So those on the front lines have told the media that they have gone from battle to battle with little rest since Russia's invasion in 2022. I mean, again, for 3 consecutive years going to war against Russia, who has a much larger military, more than the double the size of Ukraine's military active personnel. It is not something easy, and it is going to be absolutely taxing for them, emotionally, physically, you name it. Then you have also troops are allowed to take only 10 days of vacation, if you read here, and because of the shortage of manpower, the vacations are getting delayed. So if you send in a request for the vacation to your higher up, they are more likely to not approve it than likely to approve it. Means you can ask them, I deserve this 10 days of the year to be off from duties, but then you have to wait until you find out whether that was accepted or not. And this shows how desperately the Ukrainian soldiers are needing a vacation time off, and how desperate they are to actually get out of this war, because it is just so taxing on them. So what condition is the army? So let's compare the Russian army with the Ukrainian Zelensky's army. So according to one report, it basically said 1 million Ukrainian military they have, compared to 2.2 million Russian soldiers. So again, as I said, it is double the number for the Russian forces compared to the Ukrainian forces. And then you also have the Western estimation. They say, well, Russia lost 4,500,000, not 4,000, 400,000, 500,000 soldiers. But when it comes to Ukraine, they only say, oh, no, it's not too many, only 80,000. As you can see on the screen, only 80,000. But guys, this is not the number. This is deflated number. It is in the hundreds and thousands, not 80,000. At least I would put the number minimum 250 to 300,000 Ukrainian soldiers got killed, but the Western estimation is always going to be less. 5 to 7 soldiers, they have to face 30 Russian soldiers. So 5 to 7 Ukrainian soldier, they face 30. So almost how many? 6 times, 7 times more than the number of Ukrainian soldiers compared to Russian soldiers. I'm talking about, these are like combat mission, when they go on a battle, street to street fight, for example, or capturing a town or a city and things like that, places like that. This is what they face. 5 Ukrainian soldiers, for example, patrolling a neighborhood, and they see 30 Russian soldiers popping up, and can you imagine how scared they are going to be to see those Russian soldiers, 30 of them. Now, Ukrainian analysts, they claim that they are fighting with 10 soldiers each of them. So the ratio is 1 to 10, which is absolutely unbelievable and unacceptable. And then they still want to continue this war, hoping that they will win. Something absolutely stupid on the Ukrainians' part, because they cannot win. And this is why, guys, a lot of the people, they do believe that game over for Zelensky.